What Chris Evans says in these insanely controversial statements that he made recently that really just shows how deep his hatred and loathing is for people like you and me and conservatives in general across America is pretty astounding. And we're going to be getting into this entire situation here because Chris Evans has decided that he is going to just really speak his mind on what he thinks about you and what he thinks about me. And we're going to be getting into this entire thing, so let's go ahead and get right into all of this. Chris Evans calls critics of Buzz Lightyear's gay kiss idiots as his film is banned in the Middle East. And honestly, honestly, good on the Middle East. Not gonna lie. This is a W for them on this one. But there's this entire thing that's just becoming absolutely crazy about this entire Lightyear film. We've talked about this a little bit yesterday as well, where it's not even Tim Allen who's playing Buzz Lightyear in this film. You have Chris Evans, who is a wokester, who is very much a leftist tool, and he is someone who is taking over the voice of Buzz Lightyear in this film because they want to continue to eradicate people like Tim Allen, who doesn't really fall in line with the political agenda in Hollywood. So this is exactly what's going on with Lightyear, and now Lightyear is also going to be promoting different types of questionable content for children, which doesn't really surprise me coming from Disney. We all know exactly what Disney feels about all of that type of stuff. So let's go ahead and get into this and see what Chris Evans has to say here. Some of his comments here are pretty insane. Lightyear star Chris Evans had some very interesting comments to make just shortly after his new movie was banned in multiple Middle East countries. Earlier this week, it was announced that the latest Disney Pixar film, Lightyear, will not be hitting cinemas in the Middle East markets such as Saudi Arabia, the UAE. So it's just like a huge list of places. Disney added the scene in the movie to protest Republicans and the state of Florida's parental rights, an education bill that bans the teaching of sexuality and transgenderism to children between kindergarten through third grade. So, we all know what happened with all of that situation. When the star of the movie, Chris Evans, who is replacing the longtime voice of Buzz Lightyear, Tim Allen, which is very sus in itself, was asked about the backlash to the scene, he said that anyone who has a problem with the same-sex kiss is an idiot who will die off like dinosaurs. And honestly, he's just really speaking out this weird fantasy that Hollywood has where they want you to die. They want you to die out. We've seen a lot of comments like that, especially during the whole beer bug phase that we went through. We saw a lot of comments like that. But we continue to see comments like this. And we see more comments like this, especially with all the controversies that are going on around the Second Amendment right now as well. These people want you to die. It's pretty insane. So the real truth is these people are idiots, talking about people who are, disapproving of the same-sex kiss that's supposed to be in this film for children. There's always going to be people who are afraid and unaware and trying to hold on to what was before, but those people die off like dinosaurs. And my question is always, okay, well, obviously there are some things that can always be improved on, but the majority of what this country was built on was good. It was good. Obviously, we made a lot of changes that were also necessary changes, but those changes, talking about things like slavery, were already written into things like the Declaration of Independence and things like that. They were already there. It just took some time to actually get to the point where those things were fulfilled in the Declaration of Independence. But now we are actually moving backwards. We are actually regressing into crazy times where we are, continuing to give more control to the government over our lives and do all these different things. And, our country is right now falling apart in major ways, and immorality is just like down the tubes right now. It's just like, it's a really crazy time that we are living in right now. And there are a lot of issues that we are dealing with in the country that need to continue to be talked about and addressed. But progressives are seemingly the ones that are kind of continuing to encourage a lot of these things that are ironically regressive for the country. And that is exactly what Chris Evans is as well. He's one of these people that loves to encourage all of these crazy ideologies. I think the goal is to pay them no mind, march forward and embrace the growth that makes us human. So this is something that I found interesting. Hollywood only likes to claim that that things that make us human are things that they like. If you, for instance, have an opinion that goes against the Hollywood narrative, that goes against some of their radical ideologies, like, you know, grooming children is okay and things like that, then apparently that doesn't make you human. You are only human. The things that only make you human are things that they like, opinions that you have that they like, or beliefs that you have that they approve of. But everything else apparently is monstrous and terrible, and unless you ascribe yourself 100% to everything that Hollywood wants you to ascribe to, then you are a monster. Evans continued his frustration with those upset about the scene, citing that it bothers him that same-sex relationships are still a problem in the first place. And what he says here is pretty crazy. It's tough to not be a little frustrated that it even has to be a topic of discussion. The goal is that we can get to a point where it is the norm, that this doesn't have to be some uncharted waters, that eventually this is just the way it is, that representation across the board is how we make films. But it's never going to be that way, because Hollywood has now bought into representation is the only thing that's actually important here, and that is exactly what they're going to continue to rely on. Every film that Hollywood makes, if they continue down this road of just being obsessed by representation, every film that they make, representation is going to be the first thing that they're thinking about. Identity politics is going to be the first thing that they're thinking about. Do we have enough black people in the film? Do we have enough gay people in the film? Do we need to cut out more of the white people or whatever else? That is exactly what we're going to continue to see Hollywood obsessed over if they continue down this road. So, which is why I just want to point this out, okay? This is something that I'm just going to toot my own horn a little bit here, okay? This is something that I think is very important. That's why I'm promoting Epicverse Studios, which is the thing that I have created, okay? I am the founder of Epicverse Studios. I created it, and I'm very proud and excited of what we're going to be doing with Epicverse, because representation, diversity, those aren't the things that we're focused on here at Epicverse. The things that we're focused on are good characters, good stories, and no woke agenda. That is what all we are focused on. Whatever else comes out of that is what happens. But our approach to everything is very different than Chris Evans. We are not going to be buying into these regressive ideologies. We are not going to be buying into neo-Marxist ideologies or anything like that. We are not going to allow any of that to infect Epicverse whatsoever. So make sure that you go follow us over on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, all of that good stuff. I'd appreciate that a lot. Let me know what you think about what Chris Evans is saying here. Of course, everything that he's saying here is exactly what Hollywood wants. They want to make this type of stuff the norm, which is why we continue to see all these crazy things that are happening with kids right now, because that is the next generation, and that is how they're going to continue to try to make it the norm. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe. I'd appreciate that a lot, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.